Hi, I'm Alex, and this is my journal jar. And today we have another entry. Let's see what this one says today. This says, what you know about the day you were born. I think they mean, what do you know about the day you were born? Tell any family stories. Unroll the rest of it. Okay, so tell any family stories that were told to you. Oh my goodness. The day I was born was really crazy. My mom had been in full labor, like pushing, for over 18 hours. And it took me 18 minutes to take my first breath when I was born. They, in fact, called the time of death when I was born. And they didn't know what to do. They tried, they called it, and then they walked away. And then I coughed. So, I was, undermining doctors from day one, like literally day one. And so, my mom had one heck of a time. This kind of gives you some insight to my father. I'm sure he's going to come up a lot in these journal entries, but I could talk for days about him, but true to his character, he walks out to my grandparents, my mom's parents, and just says, "We lost her." Walks off. Doesn't explain a dang thing. They didn't know if they were talking about my mom. In fact, they really thought they were talking about my mom because I was supposed to be a boy. My mom had an amniocentesis that said that I was going to be a boy. Now, this was in the 80s, so, I guess the technology wasn't quite there yet. But, all my baby pictures, I'm in blue. Blue blankets, blue onesies, blue little booties, shirts with soccer balls on them. I was supposed to be a boy. So when my dad just came out saying, "We lost her," and walked off, my grandparents thought, my mom didn't make it. And then, little do they know, surprise, surprise, Alex is a girl. That, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get too much into my father. But they really had no idea what was going on with me from literally the moment I was born. Also, my mom, literally got the worst care, postpartum. She was hemorrhaging, and they had her carrying me, walking down the halls, trying to keep me quiet. I literally screamed my head off the entire night. Literally the entire night. Obviously not literally my head off, but literally the entire night I was screaming. And Mom could not stop bleeding. And she's walking down the halls. And the nurses complained to her about how my screaming is, keeping the other babies up and the other new moms up. Well, sorry, my mom was doing my best and she could really use some help. But instead, it wasn't until the morning when I first saw my pediatrician that they discovered that I had a dangerously high fever. I can't remember what it was clocked at, because, I mean, I, I was just a baby, but it was dangerously high, and my brand new pediatrician just went down the ranks and yelled at the doctors, the nurses, just everyone who was supposed to be taking care of me and my mother were not. And I was in intensive care for I forget how long, but I was sent to the NICU, and my mom finally got some rest. And my dad visited me in the NICU when my mom couldn't. So despite everything, I grew up really close to my dad, not realizing the crappy stuff he was doing. But, like, it all started then. You know, my mom is recovering from a really dangerous labor and delivery, and I'm in the NICU. So basically my father and the nurses were like the only human beings I saw until, for quite a while. And then they still didn't know what was wrong with me. In that year, my first year, they had declared me dead 3 times, according to my mother. And they had no idea why. And they just said things like, we'll be lucky if she makes it to a year. And then when I did make my first birthday, well, we'll be lucky if she makes it to 3 years old, 5 years old, 8 years old. So, I mean, kind of shows what they know. But when I was 30, and I was finally diagnosed with autonomic dysfunction, that's just failure of the autonomic nervous system. A lot makes sense as to what I grew up with just, that's why I have POTS. That's why I had such chronic fatigue all my life, and that's why I was declared dead, because, like, my nervous system, like, literally shut down and stopped worrying about all those background processes that the human body is supposed to do, like heart rate, breath rate, digestion, temperature control. So, like, they saw me, no detectable heart rate, breath rate, and cold. And they're like, oh, yeah, she's gone. I'm just like, psych. And that kind of just set the tone for my mother and I, how we kind of, like, reacted to each other. Like, that's why she was so, like, overprotective of me, and that's why she, wouldn't trust anyone around me. Little did we know that we needed to worry about my father. But that's another story entirely. So I came into the world in true dramatic fashion and continued to spread lots of drama as things went on. And, I would like a little less drama. But, I have my good days, and I just really relish in my good days. But actually, it wasn't because that's how I started out, and they didn't know how long I was going to survive. I was spoiled rotten, and I was 5 years old, starting school, before I ever heard the word no. It was like, oh, give Alex whatever she wants. We don't know how long we'll have her. And then finally we're like, okay, well, maybe she should start school. And, well, shoot, if she's going to have to start school, she's going to have to follow rules and hear the word no. And so, yeah, I gave my mom the hardest time. Because going from, like, give her whatever she wants, just make her happy, to, like, wait a minute, I have to do stuff now, was hard for both of us. But I mean, even now that I'm a mom, I could see how hard it was for my mom. So have you heard stories about your birth? What does your family what has your family told you about the day you were born? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.